That's the whole introduction? And you're supposed to do it in the right key, too, isn't that right?
For today, I think we'll just use papaja, which is kind of the old standard. What I did here was I first looked at packages. We want to install papaja. It's on CRAN, so you can go ahead and install that. After that, we're going to go new font, R Markdown. You should be able to use this from template left-hand window and find a couple of papaja options here. What we want is we want the APA styled manuscript. This is the YAML, the front matter of papaja. There's only a couple of important things here, and those are highlighted here at the bottom on lines 52 and 53, very long YAML. So this is more front matter than you see in a typical manuscript that you make using Quarto or R Markdown. So these are additions that we put in the YAML, and these are additions that we recommend other people use if you're using papaja to craft an APA formatted manuscript. And one is to specify the citation style language that you want. So Zotero library, and let's grab an APA one now. And so there's all kinds of different APA formats that you can have. There's too many, obviously, so we can use an old one. But to Katrina's point, let's take the 7th edition. Now you see it downloading, and so the file name of ours looks funny here because we had downloaded it so many times over the weeks trying to demonstrate how to use citations. And so that's what that parenthesis 2 is referring to there. It's just I had too many of these in my download folder. And then the other important thing to add is this line 53. And again, these aren't populated by default when you open up a papaja template file. So you're going to want to specify the document class as well. And then when we get to tables here, that corex package and the corex function within the corex package is really nice for formatting a correlation table in particular within these APA formatted documents. So let's do a correlation. Maybe we can do. Let's do an
You can do like
entire
a matrix.
Yeah, let's do a correlation matrix, and we can present that as a APA formatted table. So there's our correlation matrix, and we can go ahead and put that in. We could render that as an APA table, or we could actually use a different package where it's a little easier to only present information either in the upper or lower diagonal. We're going to use the corex package, and the command is corex itself as well. And we're going to subset just like we did with the base function here. The corex command, we can actually specify where we want things to be in terms of the upper or lower. We can also in this put in significance levels. We don't need to do that, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but if we want to make this a little fancier, we can put some descriptives in there as well. This might blow things up, but we'll try it. If it does blow it up, we'll just come back and change it. Okay, so now I'm going to create this corex object. We'll see if it works. It looks like it actually worked. Gave me something in my environment here. Then we're going to use papaja, and we're going to use that APA table function that we talked about a couple weeks ago. And then within that object that we created, there is something called APA. That's something that the corex package spits out. We should be able to just go ahead and run it on this. Because we do have a little LaTeX, I'm going to use that escape subcommand because that's sometimes important. We're going to cross-reference this, and so it's a little different in R Markdown than it is in Quarto. So we can say the correlations are presented in table, and then we're going to do /@ref, and then we call it either a fig or a table, and then we look for the chunk tag. We're going to put that in. I'm going to go ahead and render this and see if that works. I called it a figure. It's not a figure. Sorry, that's on me. So this renders like this here on line 45, and then this is hyperlinked. So table 1 is actually hyperlinked. That APA object is fantastic to just feed straight into another package that's going to format that such that it's consistent with APA standards. And the APA standards are things like give me a silly bold line at the top and then give me another bold line, but don't do any more bold horizontal lines until you get to the very bottom, and things like that. And so the papaja package does have an APA table formatting command. And so we use that. There are other options. You can go back previous weeks in terms of the live streams and see other packages that provide similar support. But since we're using papaja anyway, there's no reason. We're using papaja to frame the entire paper. There's little reason to move beyond it to just format something like a table. And then figures, we stayed within papaja for the figures as well. jtools and papaja have this really simple function that you can just add within within the sequencing and layering of your ggplot object, which is how I think most people structure these visuals. We're gonna put we'll put neuroticism on the y-axis since that's kind of the focal variable. We'll put conscientiousness on the x and neuroticism on the y, and then we'll see how it handles shapes. So we'll try shapes with,
I think it's gender.
and then we'll ask for geom point. So let's give that a name so we can call it back. We'll call it plot, neuroplot. That sounds weird. We'll give it a fig count. And then let's try a reference to that as well. And then we use that same /at ref. And then this time I can use fig. And then so it's going to be spelled wrong, neuroplot. So now we should actually have the figure put in there, not yet APA formatted, but we should call it out, cross-reference it as well. Figure 1, again, hyperlinked. Yeesh. So there it is. We'd want to have a little jitter added to that to limit some of this overplotting, but we're getting the shape on the gender like we want. So I'm just going to add theme APA. The papaja package is already loaded. Yeah, so you can see there, again, if we go back and forth, mainly what it did there is it got rid of the grayscale, and yeah, it added the border without, as Ian said, without a roof. So we have no roof. And then for inline stats, we again stayed within the papaja package. You don't have to, and you don't need any package for this. You can actually just do a statistic and then pull from inside that statistic. Because you can use a package, and the APA_print from papaja is fantastic. It's really flexible for all kinds of different analyses. And so the reason this looks a little different, the reason that we created an object here was because, kind of like core X, what happens with the APA_print from the papaja package is you're creating a list. So you're creating a lot of information. And this report reg, which we came up with that name, it just means report the regression, or that's what it's short for. That report reg is going to be a list that has many, many different types of things that you can report. Let's actually do a regression. See if we can do a multiple regression, which would be a LM. And we'll use neuroticism. So we'll do agreeableness, and then BFI recoded is our object. Looks like it ran a multiple regression there. You can see that object, that's a large LM. And then in the papaja package itself, the wrapper is, again, APA print. So we're going to want to use that APA print. Is a very flexible wrapper. It doesn't really matter what the object is. It's going to be able to identify it, and we'll call it report reg. It's a little long, but that's okay. Let's see. It has estimate. It also has model fit. It has statistic. It's full result. Let's try full result and see what that looks like. So we have correlations presented in table. We have regression with neuroticism as a DV, and the other four, we'll just use our inline code here, and we'll say, give me report reg. And inside of that, I want, what did we say? Full result. and I'm going to put a period after that. Well, I don't know. We'll see what that looks like. Whoa, there's my regression. That did return a lot. Look at that. And then citations. This is what a citation looks like in BibTex format. Uh, it's what a citation looks like in BibTex format that's intended to be used within our Markdown or Quarto. If you just ask for a citation in BibTex format from something like Google Scholar, it's going to give you these curly brackets. And so it's a really kind of simple transition. And then again, just like previously we did, a neat paper is, and then in Quarto and our Markdown as well, the way to reference these citations once you identify the bibliography file in your YAML is to just use @ and then the citation tag. The citation tag is this bit right here just on the first line.